All right. We are
We're live.
live.
Well, hello and welcome to the Eric and Liz show.
Hello, guys. I hope you guys have been doing well. Yes, so
And
we are.
yeah, I'm back. I just had to make another couple of clicks and so on, just to have us back on recording. And what an interesting week.
Yes, it has been. It has been. So, how was your week, Eric? How are things going with you?
My week, my well, overall it was good. I mean, I was very busy, had a lot to do. What threw me off was another mass shooting here in America. And I'm like, do
Oh,
we
yeah,
really have to deal with this every other week? That
I
something is
know.
happening.
I think it's so
And
sad for the first responder. He was new to the force and he left his other job to come and do that type of work, being police officer.
yeah, yeah,
And he
and
had seven kids, seven
seven
kids.
kids. Yeah,
So my
that's
condolences
sad.
to his wife, to his family.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
when you see that, it's sad. And I always have friends from Europe calling me then, and they ask me, "What's wrong with you guys?" And I say, it's how shall I say? I don't even want to say that it's a Second Amendment issue because even in Europe, if you want to, you can have, an arm. You can.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing is to get to the point that um, they feel that you can carry that arm is totally different. You have to jump through a lot of hoops. It's very, very controlled,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why it's not accessible to everybody. And
Mm-hmm.
here is that assumption that it should be accessible, the right to bear arms. um, put a couple of restrictions in there. If people
Yeah.
are not mentally capable to abstract
Right.
what an arm can do, they
Exactly.
have hunters, they have sport shooting but um, I know of people, even in my neighborhood, they have over 20 types of firearms, and I'm like, what do you do with that? I mean, I understand, that you like to
Mm-hmm.
collect and but at the end of the day, I don't know. I would say, go take them away, but that's not
Yeah.
going to
But
fly for
a
sure.
major a major thing for us is that I hate to say it, but I don't hate to say it, there's no consequences. If you
Yeah.
keep doing something, maybe you get slapped on the hand, there needs to be stricter consequences. And then, maybe you'll think twice about doing it, and that I totally understand, mental health and different mental health issues. I totally
Yeah.
understand that. And I'm very sympathetic, to that. But, it's just so unfair to the families and, the consequences aren't stiff enough.
Well, it's maybe not that they are not stiff enough. It's that the law seems not to hit hard fast.
Right, exactly.
But oh well. You know what? I think it's time to change subject
Yes, let's do
to
that.
to to our more uplifting things in life, and we have the
Right.
right person here, actually, which is Veronica Owusu, from Manchester, and well, let her in. Oh, she was just there, and she is, huh? Sorry, just make a monologue. She was just there. Say, there she is. She is back. That was funny. She just got out for a second, I guess, and
All right.
she's coming in. So, hello,
Hello
Veronica.
there.
Hello, Eric and Liz.
Hi, Veronica. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. It's a bit late here. The kids are sleeping and Mummy's up to her mischief as usual.
All right. Well, welcome.
Thank you so much.
And
All
thank
right.
you for being up late.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. But you know, the truth is actually, I do, because most of my clients are international and in the US and I'm in the UK, I usually work in the evening. So it's something nothing too out of the, odds.
Okay.
Ordinary for you.
Okay, wonderful. We don't feel so bad now.
No, not at all. Not at all.
So, Veronica, you are, if I may say, you're a life coach.
A life coach.
That,
Well,
life business.
Yeah. Well, I actually like to see it, because what does that mean? A life coach. What exactly do I deal with? What exactly do I solve? What problems? Is it every aspect of life? Is it a specific area? I like to see myself as a deep dive mindset coach. And I apply that into what I also do as a course creation strategist. So I add the deep diving into the course creation, where we unearth, we dig deep into that gold dust, I call it, the essence of who you are, your knowledge, of course, your skills and your experience, but as well as your passions and your values. And how do you all package that into a transformational online course? So there's a lot of deep diving there, not surface stuff. It has to be transformational. We have to go deep.
Wow.
So when you do that, do you have that going to certain individuals, a certain type of individual, or are you able to keep it more open?
So, it all started with me unearthing my gold dust.
Yeah.
Because, of course, I have over 10 years experience as a teacher, an educator, an examiner. This is part of who I was. But when I diverted into coaching, I buried my past. I buried the teaching experience. I buried, as an entrepreneur, we had 2 businesses. And I remember, like today, over 10 years ago, standing in front of the pawnbroker shop, selling my precious belongings because 2 of our companies had gone bankrupt. I'd buried that past. I was like, no, I don't know. I'm a coach now. I'm here to change the world and unlock potential. But until I unearthed my gold dust and navigated the vast ocean of this online world, did I discover who I was as a coach, what my mission was, and how I can use my gold dust, my experience, but as well as my passion and my skills to have a greater impact. So, evolving as a coach, I now serve other coaches just like me, struggling to unearth their gold dust and struggling to package their experience and their skills and their passion into a transformational online course, so that they can as well have an impact, so that they can find your voice and their tribe, most importantly, because it's a struggle finding they call it the niche, your niche, your ideal client avatar. I like to call it your soul. I'm a deep diver. So all the words I use are all deep, like a soulmate client, your ideal tribe member, because that's part of your tribe. That's who you are. You've been them somewhere in your past. And now you're there on a mission to lead them through some form of difficulty. What is it? What is that difficulty? That's actually the golden spot, I call it, that golden nugget, the problem you're here to solve as a coach, the impact you're supposed to be making as a coach, the difference you're supposed to be making as a coach, and ultimately the mission you are on this earth for as a coach, because coaches have a mission. They're special beings. They're light workers. They've been through something, So in a nutshell, that's what I do currently. And yes, I serve coaches and consultants that are here to make a difference in the world, but struggle to find their voice, struggle to find their ideal clients online, and ultimately really have a challenging time packaging all that experience and all that gold dust into this gift of a transformational online course that creates this ripple effect.
Right. So do you actually give, like, your clients, you give them ideas? If someone comes to you and, they have an idea and they don't quite know it, And well, you said you really dig deep. So what is that process like? Tell us what that looks like for you to, counsel someone and to pull something out of them that they didn't even know they had.
Yes. So I don't believe in giving on a silver platter. This is what you're meant to do. This is, looking at your experience and no, that is for you to decide for yourself. My job is to unearth what you already have, but not aware of, and evoke that and surface that so that you can make the better choice, so that you can make the decision, and that you can have the results that you ultimately desire based on the better decisions that you have made. So no, it's not counseling, it's a deep dive. So I believe in empowering and evoking the best out of you so that you can now create something transformational so that you can serve better. The problem with many of the upcoming coaches or pivoting coaches into the online world is that everybody's looking outside. Who is my ideal client, right? Oh, that's where the money is, right? Maybe we can serve, we're coaches, we can go into organization and help managers, and they all have problems or some kind of team issues going on, or maybe this, or maybe that. There's so much noise on us to where or who you should serve or who your ideal client is, but they never really stop to look within, because that's where the secret treasure hides, in the most obvious of places where you'd never look. You never look there for your answers. You always look outside. But that's the best kept place to keep your treasures, within.
Right.
So that's...
Sorry. So they just need someone like you, Veronica, to actually unlock that potential.
That is the beginning. That's stage number 1, the unearthing. Because if you want to create a transformational online course, remember, by the end of, the whole journey, you have a solid framework. You have an online course outline. You have modules. You have lessons. You have milestones, right? That is the ultimate, golden nugget that you have. But it takes stages. It takes a process. Too often people come to me stuck because they've missed the stages, and they just dived straight into the content of the course. Okay, module 1. So I know my audience is, CEOs or business owners, and I want to help them build confidence. So let me get into the content. No. First of all, your clients are not CEOs or business owners. That's too vague. That's too general. What do you mean? And why? Why them? How is that relevant to you? And all these questions. So that's where the unearthing comes in, so that you can identify exactly who you are as a person, your story, and from the essence of your story, identify who your ideal client could be. Because you know what? Your ideal client is you. Is you, somewhere in your past. And your job is to now go down memory lane and scoop them so that they can now come to where you are. And as you bring them up and you grow them, you grow yourself. And we're all growing. So that's stage number 1, right?
You know what, Sunny, Veronica? I can see Liz looking at you, and she is listening very carefully.
Yeah, I am.
It's so funny, for us as business owners, managers, CEO, whatever, it's always that quest to get better, to achieve better results. And it is good that there are people like you, Veronica, which are out there and are helping, reaching the next step. Just usually they are already, to a certain point accomplished, I guess.
Yeah.
And like you said, they're stuck.
Yes, they're stuck, and there are many reasons, because they haven't really identified who they're here to serve. And if they think they know who they're here to serve, it's not exactly inspiring for them. They're not the ideal clients. So ultimately, you're never really going to show up fearlessly online and speak your truth. You're not going to be authentic, because these are not the people that you really actually relate to most. So really, it's important when you're trying to create visibility online and have an impact through an online course. It's important to go through the stages. So after the unearthing, we go through I call it the warrior story. We all have a story, and your story is the backbone of your course. I I really don't care who you are in life. You have a story, and we are not comparing stories, because the truth is everybody experiences the same event differently. Like, oh, but who hasn't been in the pawnbroker shop? Like people have been gone, who hasn't gone bankrupt before? But that's my story. But you see, the difference is the object, which is the bankruptcy, or, you know, you being in the pawnbroker shop or somewhere. But I'm the witness. I witnessed that. I experienced that. So each witness has a different perspective. And when they go to court to tell the story, depending on the perspective that they were at, they all have a different story, a different experience, different insight, a different, breakthrough, a different kind of, a different thought. So that's what makes us different. So from that story, you now identify who your ideal client is, because she is you and you are her. And from that essence, you can now go back to see what exactly the problem that you solved on your journey and the solution that you came up with, and now replicate that into your online course, so that you can now replicate whatever problem you solved and your ideal client is urgently facing as well. And you can now help solve, because you've been through it. You've walked in her shoes. And now you have the solution. So here you are to lead with impact.
Wow.
And then
that sounds awesome.
Then we start getting deeper into the content. Okay, so now what's the roadmap? Okay, so now what's the blueprint? So what's the process? And now we start creating our modules and our lessons. And then as a teacher, creating lesson plans was second nature. It was like, I know it like the palm of my hand. I had 85 million hours of teaching experience. When you look at 10 years and you exchange it, you transform that into hours, that's about 85 hours for when I last checked. And I was like, wow, how could I have not thought about that? Because I'd buried that for a long time, But it was only when the unearthing came that I connect the dots. And that's what I help other people do now, connect the dots. And now, using my teaching skills, we created lesson plans. Like, that was how we got students' results, right? I was an English teacher, an ESL teacher specifically, and we would go into organizations. I was working for a language school. We go into organizations. This is in Poland. I'm half Polish, by the way.
I'm not familiar with that acronym.
Which one? ESL. ESL is English as a second language. Okay. So back in Poland, as a teacher, we would go into these international companies that had Polish staff, and they needed to polish up their English. They needed communication skills. So we'd go in, would see exactly what needs they had, what departments, what kind of language they needed, and then would create a program for them. And that's, that skill was harnessed throughout the years. And now I bring that forth as my gold dust to make an impact. Because we talk about making a difference. I want to make a difference in the world. Like how, what, where, who, how.
May I ask you, how did you end up in Poland?
My mom is Polish. So I was born and bred in Ghana. I was born and raised in Ghana. My dad is Ghanaian and my mom is Polish. So, of course, back in the early 60s, the love story started when my father had a scholarship to study in Poland. You see, Ghana and Poland used to be in very good relations, as the first president of Ghana, Kwame Nkrumah, was a socialist. He was a socialist, and he was in very good terms with Russia, Soviet Union, and Poland, and other communist countries. So they were exchanging students, and there were exchanges, there were scholarships. My father was the lucky one, and he met my mom there, and she was teaching him English, she was teaching him Polish, and he was teaching her English. Yeah. Cool. And when she was only 22 years old, 22, at such a young age of 22, she left her country and travels to Africa, Ghana to be exact. And she's been there for the past 53 years now. She's still there. So, of course, let's follow the tradition. My sisters traveled and did their masters in Poland. So Veronica, being the last born, where are you going after your A-levels? I'm going to the US. You're going to Poland. I'm like, okay. Everybody's going to the US. No, you're going to Poland. You're Polish. You're half Polish at least, so you better know that part of your culture, right?
And how did that go?
Oh wow! So the first this is like 2000. That's how many years ago? This is
okay.
2000. Sorry,
That's okay.
1999, mid 2000. That's when I left Poland. So I was maybe 19 years old. And I remember, feeling a bit awkward because people were not very used to colored people walking on the street. Poland was very reserved. Remember, not long ago did they open their borders and start, um, allowing or kind of interacting with the rest of the world. They were communists for a very long time, right? So it was quite strange. And but I got to know my other family members, my aunt, my cousins, and they were so welcoming and so loving and so receiving. And my experience in Poland has been one of really very hospitable people. Very, very engaging. They love, of course, to find out more. They're very curious. But last time I visited, things have changed. Oh, Poland is now like, ooh, they're so open, and nothing is surprising for them anymore. So the experience was interesting. Like, in university, I was the only Black girl. There was no other in the whole faculty. Like, okay, I think, but it was nice in the hostel. I remember those days because they were still inviting international students to study in Poland. So there would be people from Angola, from Congo, from Ghana, from Nigeria. So the hostel was kind of like an international place where you'd have parties on each floor.
Ooh.
Yes, and the Congolese had the best parties.
All right.
Is it where you developed your dancing skills?
Oh, my dancing was way back as a child. I always loved, performing arts. I remember I'd always be in the dance club or the drama club or the talent show. Wherever there was something happening, Veronica was there.
So all right. I was going to say that. Yeah, I love your videos when you're dancing and, I'm like, ooh, she's got flavor. That's really cool.
And it's interesting, how is that part of my business strategy, right? How is that part of creating community? How is that part of attracting a tribe of people that vibe with you? There's a whole strategy towards the whole dancing, because my dancing, like I said, is part of performing arts. There's always a message behind it. There's always some form of essence, some form, either, a message, some form of an insight, and that creates a community. It's not something that you see in every day. It's not something that is so common on LinkedIn, especially, right? We're breaking the rules a little bit.
Right, exactly.
And we're disrupting the landscape of LinkedIn a lot. So it's really about building a community, because it's in the community that you have your raving fans, you have your supporters, and then you have your clients. You're not only looking for clients, no, you're looking for a community, because I've had people who would never be my clients, but have referred me, right?
Oh, wow.
People who absolutely, that is the power of a community. It's not, you're not just out there, where's the client, where the clients? No, the intention is to build a community. But a community of like-minded people that trust you, that like you, because then only then will they do business with you.
Right, exactly.
So, when you see the dancing and all the fun, that's part of who I am. And I want to show up as such so that I attract and repel those that don't and attract those that do. Okay. I mean, I had a client, she had been following me for over 6-7 months. She never really thought about creating a course, but because of my consistency and my messaging, right, about the gold dust, unearthing, packaging, right, the framework, course creation, having that impact in a more structured way, kind of like a light bulb's like, okay, I want to find out more. So she reached out, she became a client 7 months later, just because she liked and vibed with the dancing. She got it. She got like the messaging. So we're not only attracting clients, we're also creating them.
Right. Yeah. Have you ever worked with a fashion designer, anyone in the fashion industry? I think I did listen to all of your videos and stuff, and I believe I heard you mention fashion designers. So I'm just kind of curious.
Absolutely. So that was part of my, back in Poland. So in my university days, I used to be part of an African band. We used to travel all around Poland, I think over the 6 years back in, because I was doing my master's. So that was like 5 years of university, or almost 6 years. And within that period of time, we'd be traveling at the weekends all around Poland, and we'd be performing on stage, doing festivals and all that. So that was one part. But as a result, I also got into advertising and commercials. So I was also using that platform of my creativity to use that as well. And so if there was anything with modeling or photo shoots, that I was there. I told you I was performing arts.
Right.
So yeah, absolutely. It was part of the whole journey, especially as a student back in Poland. It was never something I did professionally. That side gig, when you're in university, you always have those extra exciting things happening around.
Oh yeah.
But you see, that's part of the gold dust.
Right.
And acknowledging that. And now I bring that forth more than ever. Because that's also me, right? I love that.
Exactly. I'm going to be in touch with you. I'm going to be in touch because there's a couple of people that have told me, oh, you need to do some courses, you know what I mean? Online teaching. That's what I've gotten that from so many people, but I think I would need somebody like you to help pull it out. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
Because I haven't felt it, So yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, the unearthing process is such an eye-opener. I've worked with coaches that are really pretty much advanced as well, right? Or consultants, and they're pretty much in their businesses. They have a lot of experience, and now they want to package that. But how do you package so many years of experience? Like, where do you even start?
Right.
And, am I expert enough? Maybe I should do something extra. Maybe I should do another course, or maybe I should do some more trainings. Like, is what I have good enough? And all these doubts and all these kind of misconceptions are rooted in the lack of focus and rooted in the lack of clarity. Because if you knew without a shadow of a doubt who you're here to serve, who your ideal client is, and you knew without a shadow of a doubt the problem exactly that you're trying to solve.
Right. That's the key.
You would, of course. And they talk about the lack of confidence over and again, not confident enough to show up. No, confidence is not your problem. I'm going to say this 1,000 times. That's not a problem. That is just a result. Lack of confidence is just a result of a chronic issue that is underlining it. And usually it's because of the lack of clarity and focus. That's, imagine a factory producing some product, right? And it's emitting the smoke. The smoke is confidence. That's it. But it's from the production that the energy is produced, and then confidence is just a byproduct. So when somebody says, oh, I lack the confidence, that's not your problem. Let's deal with the root of the issue and not lack of confidence. I need more confidence. Like from where?
Wow. That's cool.
Lizz, I know, I can see you. I can see it in your eyes.
Yes.
Her wheels are spinning, and I can tell you're the type of personality that Lizz definitely likes.
Yeah, I kind of went on your website and I was dancing to some of your videos. I'm like, oh, I'm really into this. It was really, it was really cool. It was like a connection type of thing. Like you said, people go to your Instagram page and they just, start flipping on a few of the videos and they can feel your vibe,
Yes, absolutely. Yes. And, that's the beauty about just being you.
Right.
It's so freeing, so liberating. And it's hard work being fake. Where do you draw the line? Today again?
So, in the world of having all those media channels, and unfortunately, you feel like you have to be kind of everywhere. And, we chose Lizz and I, to be in a smaller forum. But for me, it's interesting for you as a professional, how does the being on LinkedIn influences your work, or is it just another vessel that you use?
So LinkedIn is a stage.
Yeah.
It's a stage you use to amplify your voice. right? I remember 5 years ago when I started off, I wasn't clear exactly on my messaging. I wasn't clear on who exactly my niche was. As you know, yes, so many years of teaching, but now I'm a coach, so I thought I'm starting afresh, right? So it was all about inspiration and okay, that was the kind of stuff. But with time, it evolved. And with LinkedIn, when I started, I made myself a promise. I said, Veronica, but by that time, my marriage was on the rocks. I was like, Veronica, you need to take charge of your life. You got 2 kids. And I'm not going to be part of the 80% of coaches that didn't make it. That's not an option. So what comes with it, LinkedIn, is commitment. It's going to be a journey. It's not fast. It's a slow burner. I don't think you're going to get, well, maybe somebody has, but don't think you're going to get clients in the next week of showing up, or the next 2-3 weeks or a month, depending on how clear you are on your messaging, depending on how clear you are on your niche, depending on how clear you are on your messaging, what you have to offer. LinkedIn can be very powerful. And it has transformed my business, absolutely. And it's only because I had that clarity in exactly who I was serving, the problem I was solving, and the promise. What is your promise? My promise, and I say this every day as I show up, people know this, that by the time of working with me, you would have unearthed your gold dust and packaged it into a transformational course, online course, so that you can now leverage your impact, leverage your influence, and of course, leverage your income. But ultimately, that's the promise. It's so clear. I don't even have to, nobody has to ask, so what is exactly what? If you have to ask me twice, I haven't done my job well.
Right.
Like really, it's that specific, like it's that deep. There's a lot of power. I always say, don't go 10 meters wide, go maybe 2 meters wide and 10 meters deep. So it's about this ocean, this vast ocean. You need to find that spot. When you find that spot, go deep. Because that's how you make impact. One of the misconceptions is, but I can serve everybody. I can help everybody. There's so many, I have the skills. Anybody can benefit from my services. But then that's not totally true. What is impact? Imagine a nuclear bomb. Let's go there. You have a drone. It's been programmed to hit that X on the ground. Just that X, that tiny X. So imagine the impact of the explosion. That's impact.
Right.
That's impact. When you hit that X, that's how you explode. Ironic, but that's how it works, especially online.
Now, that's the first time I've heard someone say that about LinkedIn. LinkedIn is kind of hard for me to understand. I don't know. It's not like Instagram. It's not like Facebook or Twitter. It's something totally different. And I have yet to figure out LinkedIn. Eric is on LinkedIn like big time. But I'm afraid that I may post the wrong thing, or you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know.
There's nothing like posting the wrong thing, really,
right.
Is there, Eric?
No, it's not. They shut you up.
Oh.
Well, think of it of more a B2B approach, business. It's. I mean, that's maybe how I look at it. But
I look at it like human to human.
Yeah, human to
okay.
human.
I know what you mean, business to business, but when you do it human to human, that's how you build connection, and that's how you build trust. That's how you build likability. That's how you build business.
Oh God, I'm going to replay that all the time.
Right.
But yes, Eric, you're right.
LinkedIn is such a different media. That's maybe why I like it. We are one of the few shows, I think, who are on LinkedIn, period. Because that's not usually where you would put an infotainment show. So we're really one of the few out there. And it's just nice how organically the viewership is growing. But it's because we have professionals, on the show, like Veronica, you have been growing very nicely. And you must spend a lot of time on LinkedIn, because when I see how many people you answer to on other shows, you know,
Yeah.
and you interact with it. Well, it's like everything. It's time consuming, but you have to also find your niche. And when you're in a professional environment, it's a little different. This is not Facebook. You know,
Let me comment that. So when we
yeah,
say that, right, LinkedIn, yes, is a platform for professionals. The difference between LinkedIn and other social media platforms like Facebook is that people are usually business oriented. They know they're there to do business. So you have that mindset already.
Right.
But when we talk about what professional means, there are different types of people that have different professions. Does that make them professional or not professional? So if somebody is a musician and is always on LinkedIn doing all his stuff, more laid back and gigs and having fun and all these things, that's him professionally. If you have a singer or somebody, that's her showing up professionally, right? If you have somebody who is, maybe a real estate agent or something, he or she will show up in that profession professionally. So professionally means something totally different for everybody else. There's no one image of what professional means. So I call them the LinkedIn self-appointed LinkedIn police. That's what we call them, the self-appointed LinkedIn police that say, this is not this, you shouldn't be, you shouldn't. They have their own opinions, and that's fine. But the truth is, LinkedIn is a platform for people. The people are going to make it what they want it to be.
Right.
It's a platform, and the people are the ones that run the show, as in the ones that, create the content, and that this is like, they're the heart. They're the beating heart of this stage, of this platform. So it's going to become what the people say it will.
Right.
LinkedIn isn't going to say, of course, you're not going to have, it's not an adult site, so that's never, ever going to happen, right? But what I mean is, as professionals, how we express ourselves is going to evolve, and how that evolves is what it's going to become. So I go in with the attitude of not judging. I go in with the attitude of, as long as it's working for you. I go in with the attitude that if I don't like it, I either block or unfollow, or I don't have to interact, move on, live and let live, right? So I go in with that attitude. So I have no judgment or kind of opinion on what should or shouldn't be. The word should or shouldn't already dictates an opinion from your own perspective or beliefs. So I'm more open with LinkedIn.
Well, Veronica, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
Wow. So that's where you met Veronica at on LinkedIn, correct?
Yes. Yes, we met on LinkedIn.
We met on LinkedIn. She caught my eye. I just said, hey, would you be interested? And she said, yeah. And we had that contact, oh God, 4, 5, 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Right. I think I remember that.
Maybe. But sometimes the problem is also you get inundated. With people who want to contact you with, want to do things. So just going back, I mean, and I'm speaking to Liz here, Veronica just was very responsive.
Cool. Because she's a people person.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's sometimes I even feel so bad because there's some messages that just get they drown down into the bottom, and I don't always get to reach them. But then I do dedicate some time, because you asked how much time do you spend on LinkedIn? Are we supposed to spend on LinkedIn? If this is your business, this is your business, this is your livelihood, this is how you earn your money, this is how you make a living, this is how you make an impact. So if you're committed to that, then showing up on LinkedIn is like showing up to the office.
Right. Especially now, this is our platform.
Yes. That's my office, in other words, my virtual office. So we're having fun there, hey?
And I think then to be as a plug for LinkedIn. That was not my intention.
Mm.
It was just that there's so much interesting happening on LinkedIn, and even when you see that a lot of big CEOs, um, they post some very interesting things on LinkedIn that you wouldn't necessarily find on another platform
Yeah.
Mhm.
because they're just trying to reach a different viewership or listenership. So it's like when Bill Gates started becoming very active, on LinkedIn. I mean,
Hmm.
it's kind of fascinating what comes in there. And then you see all those different aspects of people trying to find that, oh gosh, that sounds really weird, that right link. That was pathetic. But
Oh.
but there, to connect.
Mm.
And
Yeah,
there were people
definitely.
actually abusing that concept.
Mm.
We suddenly there were the spurs of let's connect, let's connect, let's connect.
Mhm.
And it was funny because I jumped actually on the bandwagon, and they shut off my LinkedIn account
Oh,
Wow.
okay.
because they felt I was reaching out to too many people out of
Right.
my sphere.
Mm.
Okay. Okay.
And I say,
Yeah.
hey, I'm reaching out here because I'm not Eric, the real estate agent. I'm Eric, the talk show host,
Right. Right.
and I need those connections.
So they want you to stay in a lane, pretty much.
Not in a lane. They
But
just don't want people to just plaster.
Yeah,
okay.
I
Okay.
think what happened was their system detected that as a robot. So when you
Mm.
have a lot of activity, like all of a sudden, like click, 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 a lot of things happening at once, especially they think it's robot activity because
Mm-hmm.
they're bots. We call them bots. So
Right.
there's a system that kind of looks out for these kind of activities. So they may mistaken a human for a robot, and then they can block you until you kind of proven that, oh, this was just a mistake. This was actually a human being.
Okay.
Yeah, which
But
was
yeah, it can be very scary.
well,
Hmm.
it's like kind of it's what you do. It's like if tomorrow you were booted off of LinkedIn, you would be like, "What the fuck just happened?"
Oh, I've got some really close friends and pretty visible people who have been blocked by mistake, and they sorted it out. It can be sorted out, luckily.
Oh my
If you
Wait
you
goodness.
a minute,
connect,
I
you
do have
yeah,
to say they will respond. They didn't answer any of my questions, of course.
right.
The why then there, they just put your account back and you're kind of happy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
But
right. Wow.
you would
Yeah.
have liked some deeper explanation. What did I do? So you have to detect for yourself. What
Mm-hmm.
did I do? And
Oh,
I think I
yeah.
just overreached, to, people, maybe someone didn't like to be contacted by me.
It's hard
Wow.
to
I don't know.
say.
You don't
Yeah.
know. But it's not like when people then say something about you, it has a totally different impact than you're just blocked by an individual on
Yeah.
another
Mm-hmm.
platform. So, but oh well. Anyway, it wasn't about LinkedIn. It was about Veronica.
Oh,
Right.
I think right. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much connected. LinkedIn is a big part of where I am, and
Mm-hmm.
there's no point being in all social media platforms. It's really about finding where your ideal clients hang out
Okay.
and hang out there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not that active on Facebook, nor am I that active on Instagram, but
Mm-hmm.
Instagram is maybe the second platform after LinkedIn, but
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn is my focus. I cannot,
Okay.
create more Veronicas, or I don't want to create more Veronicas, but absolutely LinkedIn is my focus, and it's about finding your focus. It could be Facebook for you, it could be Instagram for you. And that's what it will be. Just find out where your ideal clients hang out, and that's where you show up. Giving value, giving, you know, a piece of yourself, and also receiving. So it's a yin and a yang, you know, give and take, but also lots of interactions, a lot of engagements. People really want to see that you really care, or you're not just there for yourself.
Right, exactly.
Because that's what the intention can be for some. They're just in for what's in it for me all the time. But with LinkedIn, it's a platform where you have humans there. These professionals are human beings.
Right.
And as much as they show up with their suit and their ties, behind closed doors, they're, you know, normal people. And I like to see it like that, because then I can connect better. And I like to show up as such. You can see me all dressed up on LinkedIn. You can see me with no makeup on LinkedIn. You can see me, you know, in my suit and all that. You can see me in my shorts or in my jumper or whatever. Because there are different types of days, there are different types of messages I have. I have an inspiration, so I'll just take the phone and speak to it with that message. I have just got off a call. I wanted to share something, you know. So it's just be human and show different aspects of you. Not everybody wants to see all the polished up Veronica, the polished up me, because that's not human. You know,
no, it's not.
You want me to see when I'm going to bed, when I wake up, or when I'm like.
Right. People love for you to be yourself, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's how you build connection.
Yeah, that's true. And I'm so happy that the pandemic, it really hasn't stopped your business. As a matter of fact, it's probably grown. Am I correct?
Yeah. So my business started even before the pandemic.
Right.
You see, I remember very vividly when I was doing my vision, right, of what kind of lifestyle I wanted. You know, as trained coaches, we ourselves go through coaching, and we are also evolved and we are developed as coaches. So I remember creating this vision of the lifestyle, and I remember vividly saying I wanted to have that flexibility. I wanted to have that power to live life on my terms. So I made a conscious choice. That was the first year I was doing offline. Then that was the fourth year. So 4 years ago, I started like, no, I'm going to do an online presence. I'm going to do an online business because I want to be there. I want to be able to work with people from all around the world. I want to be able to change my times and work whenever I want. So I started before the pandemic, and that was like something my mom, because my mom, I was talking to my mom the other day, it's like, Veronica, you know, yeah, you're lucky that you started before. Yeah, you saw this coming. I was like, no, I didn't see it coming. But I remember I had friends who were online coaches already. I had some great mentors that also helped me and leveraged me and grew me and evolved me. So the journey is not a lonesome one. You need people on this journey. Right. Yes, growth. You read, you learn, and all these things. But there's some people that are key to your growth. And sometimes the universe just drops them into your space, and now, you know, you've been asking the universe for an answer, and then somebody all of a sudden appears. Like,
I believe that. I truly believe what you just said. I believe that.
It's been part of my story and how I show up in other people's lives and how people have showed up in my life. Like I had a client, Maeva. She said, Veronica, I literally asked the universe for somebody to show up in my life who could help me do this. And she'd been searching for months. And it was like, when she met me, she like, is this the one? She felt that even spiritual connection when we had our discovery call. Wow. And it's a deep thing. So yes, sometimes we do ask and sometimes we do receive. So it's about just being aware and listen and observe and flow with what comes in front of you.
Exactly. Have you done TED Talks?
No.
Okay. Well,
do you want to?
You never know.
You never know. I think you have to apply for one or sometime, but yeah, it's been on my radar actually. It's been something that has been on my list, and
I could see you on there. Yeah, I could definitely see you on there doing some amazing things.
Thank you, Liz.
Yes.
That's why we are human, to do amazing things.
Absolutely.
Not destructive, amazing things. Good,
yeah, because those two exist, don't they? Yes. You know, impact, positive impact, and not destructive
positive
impact.
Right? Oh, Liz, do you have any other questions for Veronica?
No, except the fact that I am definitely going to be in touch with you. Do you have any tips that you would like to leave some of our viewers? Any tips on themselves, self-care, anything that, someone could use and benefit from, right now?
Yes, absolutely. I'm a great believer of turning your passion into purpose. Sometimes we're looking for meaning. We're looking for meaning. We're looking to live a purposeful life, right? We're looking to give our lives meanings, especially in the pandemic. People had lost their jobs and were questioning, what am I here to do on earth? Like, what is my mission? What is my purpose? That pandemic was a pause on life.
Yes.
And people really had to sit with themselves at home alone and wonder what my life is supposed to mean. So if you're looking for meaning and for purpose, it starts within your gold dust. I always say this, within your values, your passion, your stories. You find meaning within that. So my message today is unearth that gold dust. Unearth your buried treasures, which you have forgotten and you may not be necessarily, proud of. Actually, they're quite embarrassing, but the truth is they're no longer yours to own. They're not yours. Your stories are not for you. Wake up call. You experienced them, yes, but they're not there for you to own. They're there now for you to use as tools and as instruments to now inspire and empower other people. You are the witness, right? You remember, the witness retells the story. So be that witness and share the story and unearth your gold dust and start connecting the dots and now give your life purpose based on your story and your triumphs and your failures.
I love it.
I love it too. I have to re-examine my life here.
Oh,
we're
man.
always
That's what it's about.
Really deep.
At the end, that's really what it's about. Re-examine your life, look at it. You can't always be in the position of see the train passing by. You want to be the driver from time to time.
Absolutely. Yes.
Right.
Veronica, thank you so much. And also for staying up for us. I don't know if people wrote it, but you are based in Manchester.
Yes, Manchester, UK.
Which is like the most northern city before Scotland.
Yes, actually, it is in the northern part.
I just remember because once I drove all that way up in Manchester.
Oh, okay. And you passed through Manchester. Okay.
You're not in Scotland yet.
No. Oh, okay. You're in Manchester.
All right. Hey guys, may I take a photo? Because I would love to post. Is that okay with you, Veronica?
Sure. Yes. Are we supposed to wave or just smile?
All right.
Wave.
And you know what? I do have one more quick question. How did you come up with V Power?
Oh boy. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
That's another story. But in a nutshell, it really happened when I was in that pawnbroker shop. I remember very vividly. I remember entering the shop and I remember putting my hand in my pocket and it was there. It was round, it was smooth, it was solid. It was my wedding ring. That was what was left after we'd sold the furniture, the cars, the equipment. That was what was left to that extent. And I remember as I was giving my wedding ring over, the hair on my back stood, this lump in my throat. I knew what I was doing was really not what I wanted to do. And that little voice, Veronica, what on earth are you doing? Like, is this what life is? Is this the kind of life you want to be living? This was 10 years ago. And the answer was a hell no. I remember that very moment, V powerless, transformed to V power. I had to step into my power. I said, no, Veronica, you need to take charge of your life. You need to take responsibility. And it was in that very moment, in the silence of my own mind, and that split second when you're giving your ring over and you're like, oh my God, what's going on?
Wow.
I can't believe that. So V is the Veronica, and the power is the power that I had to step into, because there was once a V powerless, but now there's a V power.
All right.
So in a nutshell, yes.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah,
Well,
so it's been a pleasure, and thank you so much for having me on the show.
And
no,
thank you
thank
for
you for
coming.
being on the
It's been a
show.
pleasure.
Thank you, Veronica. I mean, just seeing what you're doing, on the media, not, whatever media, you're keeping yourself busy anyhow. So,
Hey.
how do you have time for your clients?
Oh, well, you see, that's the whole strategy on content creation. You dedicate one day, 2 hours, and create content for the whole week or for the whole month, and you sort it.
That's cool.
Wow.
You don't have to be creating every single day. No, that's not the most effective strategy, right? I mean, some
Right.
people can do that. That's fine. And if that works for you, cool. I dedicate a day. Usually it's, the day in the week when the kids are at school or when they're asleep. I record my videos.
Mhm.
I'm at this stage where it wasn't always like that. Trust me. In the beginning, I would spend hours on content and I was just editing out and it was never good enough. So the beginnings are always scary. The
Right.
middles are always messy, but the
Mhm.
ending is always transformational. And I believe I've come to this stage where picking up the camera and just recording my thoughts based on the message that I know comes naturally and with ease, because there's an alignment. There's an
Mhm.
alignment with who you are. There's an alignment with the problem that you're solving, which is relevant to you, and the people that you're serving that is relevant to you. There's alignment. And when you are aligned, things come with ease and flow.
Mm. I believe
So
that.
I have a lot of time for my kids.
Good. That's awesome.
They're important. They are very important.
Yeah.
Mhm. Exactly.
One day they're going to say, "Hey, my mom did it."
Mhm.
That's important.
Yeah. It is. It is. It's definitely one of my inspirations, right? My kids.
Yeah, believe me, we all have kids here,
Yeah.
so
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes. It's I think
so we
every
know.
parent's inspiration to really live up as that role model. So yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah, yeah. My smallest one is turning 9 now.
Oh wow.
So believe me, um, my first one was 40 years ago. So you have a totally different appreciation,
Yeah.
now. And I'm always saying, oh my God, I should have the other kids later too. Because you just handle it so differently.
Mm.
You can, I think you can just give them more time.
Mhm.
It's one of
Yes.
those weird things, but hey,
Yeah, I think
it's
we're
life.
more conscious. We're more conscious parents, because there's this movement of conscious parenting.
Right.
And yeah,
Exactly.
being more conscious as a parent and how you manage your time and how you are present for your children. So
Mhm.
sometimes people are just on zombie mode, right? Work,
Mhm.
check, bed, kids, okay, eat,
Yes.
drink.
Right.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, that's for
But
sure.
yes,
However, so Veronica, we won't keep you up later.
thank you.
I mean, maybe I should zoom myself up and I leave you two together.
Oh no! Well, Liz will definitely reach out,
Yeah, I
and
definitely
yes,
will be in
we'll hop
touch.
on a call
Yeah, we will.
sometime when. Absolutely, there's really no
Absolutely.
rush.
It was so wonderful having you. And
Thank
we
you.
will do a follow-up with you. How about that?
Hey, you know where to find me.
Exactly. All
I
right.
like that.
Thank you so much. So
I
I'll
like
just press the leave button, right?
Mm-hmm. All
Okay.
right.
All right.
Take care.
Thank you.
that.
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
But she's gone. So
We are still on live. All right.
we're still online, and it's fascinating.
Yeah, that was an amazing show today.
Yeah.
We gave our readers our listeners something really good to, chew on. Hey,
And it's
yeah, some great advice.
there are
Mm-hmm.
those Veronicas out there in the world, and when they can help, and
Mm-hmm.
she's a coach. So you always
Exactly.
have to look at it, in a different way. She's not, she's there to guide and motivate.
Mm-hmm. I
But
was so inspired by her.
Yeah, I could tell. And I don't
Mhm.
see you often like that. I mean,
Yeah.
not being inspired, but being like, I like.
Right, right. I was totally inspired by her. Well, like I said, I had listened to some of her recordings that she was, talking about, I guess, the last 10 years of her life and how she
Yeah.
actually got started and, and I was very intrigued. So I think she's an amazing coach.
Well,
Yeah.
amazing coach, very
Mm-hmm.
positive.
Mm-hmm.
And for all our viewers out there, um, if you're stuck, professionally stuck, Veronica
Mm-hmm.
is definitely one of the peoples which probably can help you reflect back on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Exactly.
and that happens. You have those moments where you have, the so-called writer's block,
Mm-hmm.
and that you're very good at what you do. You feel that it's becoming repetitive, and you're losing some of that creativity,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what people like Veronica are really for, to break that apart and to let that run.
Mm-hmm. Right. She has some really cool techniques that are, it'll really pull that creativity out of you for sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
on that note,
All right.
we're going to say bye to our
All
viewers.
right. See
So
you
see you
guys
then
later.
next week. Our special guest.
What date is next week? Is that the first? Is that April 1st?
I think it's April 1st.
It's going
Yeah.
to be April 1st. We are going to have the lovely Hannah Hoya. She's going to be our special guest, and she is newly an author. She just wrote a book
Yep.
about her dad, who was a Guillain-Barré syndrome survivor.
Yeah.
So
And
we're
you know
going to
what?
welcome her on next Thursday.
Yes. And it's also one of those stories, it's going to move your heart. So
Yes.